Is this right? Hang on. Let me see. Hi, you guys. Just give me 1 second. We are like live streaming all over the place here. 1 second. Let me just make sure that I got this. Thank you guys so much for your patience. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. My Instagram's being just a bit fussy here. Hi, everybody. So we are in 3 places today, which I'm super excited about. And I don't know why. Hang on, I gotta delete my Instagram and come back. YouTube is gonna be the most patient here with me today. But if you guys have any questions that you would specifically like answered, I might have some space. All of these questions have come from my app, and then we also put up a question sticker on Instagram to be able to answer for y'all there as well. So let's see. All right, cool. We've got everything working. We've got everything working. Okay, wonderful. So we are here by hook or by crook on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We're podcasting. We have a lot of stuff going on today, and I'm so grateful for my husband for helping me get everything together. I didn't know if we were going to make it today because my son was like very passionately flossing his teeth last night, and he friggin' flossed off like a tooth. Like literally like half of his tooth broke off. And I have such like a tooth phobia, like you guys don't even know. And of course my kids both have, it's like a genetic thing. Luckily it's not their adult teeth as well, but a genetic thing where their first 4 teeth had to be pulled. The second child without a doubt is gonna, probably need this as well. But something I'm a really big believer that having is evidence of wanting. Like if we have something in our life, it's because we're getting off on it in some way. And we just enrolled Erotic Wealth. They enrolled a little bit early. The first module for Autoerotic Wealth, which everybody gets free, is going to be available on the 8th of August. I'm really excited about that. If you guys signed up for the free book, you have access to that on your app, but it doesn't drop until August 8th. So just heads up, and I'll be checking your homework, and the entire time you'll get to experience what it's like to work with me as your personal teacher. This is not a group situation. This is very much you and me, individualized support. There's no group calls, there's no group QA. I'm checking your homework personally and getting it back to you with a voice note that's just to you. Because just because something's affordable doesn't mean you should have to wait in line. Like, I think it's really strange that we expect this from people in like group online workshops. Like, hey, like, I promise you're gonna get support from me, but we're all gonna be in a group. Like, just because you go out to eat in a restaurant and there's a group of people there, it's not a private chef, doesn't mean that like you don't get personalized support. Doesn't mean that the waitress is taking everybody's order at one time. And I just don't think that, for people that maybe don't have anything else to do with their lives, sitting in for 2 hours on a Q&A to wait their turn to have their question answered, that might be appropriate. But for people that are being privately mentored by me that are coming in to do that first module, like, no, I'm just going to give you a direct response. So our QA sessions in the workshop aren't like these ones that we're doing here now. The QA sessions are a voice memo that just goes just to you. Anyways, my son, open this window for me a little bit here. There we go. My son fucking flossed off like his entire tooth. And when you guys do module 1, you'll get to this lesson of a kink for displeasure. So I'm like, if I have this recurring thing in my life, like, how am I getting off on it in some way? Like, how is it that I love these situations where my husband comes down and tells me the news, or I'm brushing my kid's teeth and a fucking silver crown comes off? Like, how is it that I'm enjoying this? Because I have to be enjoying it in some way, or it wouldn't be happening to me. And when you can accept that you enjoy it, kinks cycle. The only time a kink doesn't cycle is if you've repressed it, if you're insisting, I don't want that, I don't like that, I hate this. If they say like whatever you resist persists. When people get stuck in a kink, it's because they're not giving themselves permission to express the fullness of it. So I'm like, how am I enjoying when I think about these moments? For example, I'm folding laundry last night and my husband comes down the stairs and tells me, I don't want you to freak out, but Reiner was flossing his teeth and his tooth broke off and half of the tooth is still in there. And immediately my whole world stops. Immediately my whole world stops. And I feel like I'm going to puke. Like, guys, just teeth stuff I can't fucking stand. I've had so much dental drama. Like, I hate it. Anyone else here? Anyone else here being like, the dentist? Like, tried everything about the holistic way. I've been through it, can't control it. But I just feel like my head is spinning, and the only thing that makes me feel better is like, what's the bottom line in this situation? What does this mean? What's the worst case scenario? What do we do now? How do I control this? It's the whole world stops. And for somebody like me that is in control of just about everything that I can be in control of, I've always been financially dominant. I've always been in all of my relationships. I've always been the fixer, the figure it outer. Like, I am not the type of person that likes to just sit in a problem. I'm like, let's just figure this out. So in these moments where control is ripped out of my hands and I'm forced to just, and we teach this a little bit in Wheels Reinvented, but if we look at what a feeling feels like, for me, when I feel like control has been ripped out from me, what the feeling feels like, if I were to animate it, it feels like falling down a bottomless pit and I'm just thrashing, arms and legs, I hate it, free falling. An easy way to work with stuff like this is like, okay, so in this analogy, in this free falling, teetotaling analogy, like, what would feel good to do right now? What would feel good to do if you really were teetotaling, free falling and thrashing and screaming the whole time? Like, what would be logical in this situation? For example, a lot of people experience frustration as being a shaken up soda can. Well, if you have a shaken up soda can, what would feel natural to do? To pop the top and let it explode? If you feel like you're clinging to a rope that's being pulled out of your hands, would it feel good to let go of the rope and just experience what it feels like? But for me, if I'm thrashing and screaming and falling in a bottomless pit, I can't control that I'm falling. But is the thrashing and the screaming really necessary? No. I cannot control that I'm falling, but I don't have to hate it. And when I think about my inner brat kink and how much I get off on the throwing of a big fit, of the attention that's on me when I'm throwing a big fit, that brat kink, and y'all might not see this about me because my top of, my front of house kink is brat tamer. We get a lot of brat kinks. I'm talking real brat, not like Charlie XCX. I'm talking about like the legitimate brat kink, not something that has any type of different meaning. If she says Kamala Harris is brat, like, this isn't I'm talking about the specific brat kink. And what a lot of people know about me is that I'm the brat tamer of brat tamers, honey. You may get away with it everywhere else in the world, but you're not gonna get it with me. The line is the line, the law is the law. Try and argue with the earth sign, baby. Try and argue with a brat taming kink earth sign, forget it. But that's what people see in the streets. So of course, secretly in the sheets, I've got this brat kink, this little temper tantrum that just wants to throw a fit even though I can't control it. So now I understand what this is giving to me. I can't control that I'm falling. I can't control anything about what's going on with my kids' teeth. I can't, believe me. I've tried holistically, going to the dentist, all of this stuff. I have tried to control every bit about it. My usual response is to send the dentist an email with pictures in the middle of the night and then call them the second they open to see if they got my email. And then to make sure that they read my email and then call me back so we can be totally clear. Don't forget, I'm also looking up the dental names of exactly what tooth this is. This is the first molar on the bottom left side. My control is everlasting, and that's my way of thrashing and screaming. But even though I know that I can't control it. There's a way of me prolonging the deliciousness of being able to be in my brat, throwing a big fit, so that when I don't get my way, I can say, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair that this is happening to me. I don't like this. Meanwhile, people whose children have actual illnesses have passed this stage so long ago. Honey, one of my favorite, well, Wiley's favorite, she's put me onto it. Wiley loves Danny Go. And Danny Go makes bops. Like Danny Go's songs, they're bangers. You can play them in the car too, like they're bangers. And Danny Go, his son has like some type of fucking really fucked up anemia, where a day of perfect health is never going to be a day in this kid's life. It's his first child, 11 years old, has another child 4 years younger. The kid that's 4 years older, 4 years younger is always going to look older than the kid who has this type of anemia. Day in their life is pretty fucked up. For example, he recently got approved for a kidney transplant from a donor. And the reason why their son needs a kidney transplant from a donor is because the last big surgery he got, which was a bone marrow transplant, changed his DNA. And now his parents can't donate a kidney to him because it's just an endless domino effect at the hospital with one procedure, one complicated, life-threatening, major recovery, live in the hospital procedure, leading to another procedure. And then even when we get out of the hospital, there's a whole world of issues. You know, for example, everything about the kid's life has been in the hospital. For example, being sedated to go to bed every single night. You know, we've got this whole new world of problems when we try sleeping at home. So it's just this like endless domino effect. And yet my guy, Danny Go, is doing so much more than was required of him. Like literally so much more than is required of him. For example, he was just working at Lowe's doing nothing, but when his son developed a terminal illness, not terminal, but a very serious life-threatening illness. And when you look at this kid, you know, I love all children, but I'm also a deep, dark teacher. So, you know, you can look at something and see when there's a lifespan that's long and when there's not. Living, walking a long, slow plank to death is like a level of acceptance. Nobody in that family is saying it's not fair. Not only are they saying it's not fair, but they are doing so much more than is required of them, because once his son got this illness and was watching so much TV, you know, people prance around saying, oh, the dangers of screen time. Oh, your child's not reading yet? Yeah. You know, there's people whose children live in hospitals where even just being able to have health would be one thing, let alone, cut screen time for them. Yeah, they live in bed all day. And this dad just was like, there needs to be better quality TV out there for the kids. So I'm going to make a show for my kids. And I'm going to make great songs for my kids. And it's now such a much, you know, he could have just easily said, this is not fair. I should just stay working at Lowe's. I should just give in to this brat king. I should find out who's to blame. Who's responsible for this thing? I've been through all of that. My brat king. Who did this? Someone's going to lose their job over this. Do dental issues come from the maternal side or the paternal side? Was it my diet during pregnancy, my whip cracker, right? I've been through that, King. Who's responsible for this? Someone's going to lose their job over this. Cut all sugar. Add fermented liver. Well, I can control this. I can control this. Wow, when I don't get my way. So having is always evidence of wanting. And there's a lot of responsibility that you have to take when it's a lot of responsibility. And a lot of people are just not brave enough to do this. A lot of people are like, but isn't this victim blaming? Listen, on the spiritual path, we do things differently. On the spiritual path, we're seeking out responsibility ever. Your only chance at having an autoerotic life, AKA being your own source of pleasure, being your own source of eroticism, being your own master and being your own servant, like this is only possible with a whole lot of responsibility. Like there's this myth about dominance, that dominance is like, bend over, I'm going to give it to you. That's not dominance. Dominance is responsibility. Women are a lot more likely to be dominant than men, because if you think about this concept of domestic engineering and the level of organization that is just keeping the house running, the level of responsibility and organization to make things nice for people, not just to have the dinner on the table, but to have the ingredients in the house before you need them, because you know they like them. And they're trying, and they have stomach problems, so you're trying to help them adopt that gluten-free thing because you know that gluten upsets their stomach. That is dominance. It's responsibility, taking total responsibility for a situation so that somebody can come in and surrender and experience pleasure. And that is how somebody understands that it's safe to let go in this situation. This is why like CEOs, like type A alpha achievers in the streets are super submissive and love dominatrixes and stuff in the sheets, because just walking into that room and seeing that everything's been prepared for them. Here's the tools we're going to be using today. Here's your favorite thing. I'm already in my zone because I know you like it. Just seeing the level of preparation that somebody has put into making sure they can relax. You can't relax if nothing's prepared. If a homeless person said, surrender to me, I'm going to take care of you, you're going to be like, there's no preparation here. Dominance is not bend over. Dominance is responsibility. Dominance is responsibility. A lot of people crave a dominant partner that will handle everything for them, not realizing that if you crave it, it's because you have it, you're just not using it. You want that for yourself. You want to take responsibility for yourself. But it's so easy to stay lazy and say, no, 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 someone has to bring this to me. Shut the fuck up. Or don't. Stay right there. But on the spiritual path, we're looking for responsibility. We're looking for responsibility. We're looking for the uncomfortable situations in my life and say, how am I getting off on these dental issues? Will me accepting that I'm getting off on these dental issues make them go away? Oh no. There's nothing I can do to control this. The pain of life is inevitable, but the suffering is completely optional. Danny Go could sit around and say, it's not fair. Everyone else has healthy kids. It's not fair. And what? Stay working at Lowe's, whining, doing nothing? On the other side of you indulging this kink is a whole world of responsibility that's going to lead you to places of impact that you never thought you could get to. It's going to take you way higher than you could ever go. But it's on the other side of this little kink for dissatisfaction. And this is why I am so passionate about this work. And this is why I am so like, shut the fuck up. Sex magic is make a wish and blow a load. Shut the fuck up. Because the world of pleasure, the world of kink, the world of surrender, the world of pain and pleasure are the same things. This is an entire world. This is not a gas station that you pass through on the way somewhere else. You will never get what you really want out of life without understanding. And understanding is different than knowing. Really fucking understanding the role that desire, pleasure, kink, eroticism, sex plays in your life. You always know when you're blocked up here. You guys, you'll get off on this now, but like looking in my comments, you guys are going to see a lot of comments coming up. They're already there on the videos, but people being like, look, you know, I thought you were spiritual, but I really don't like this sexual direction that you leave sex out of it. That's where you're blocked. That's where you're blocked. The universe constantly expands because it's constantly making love to and rebirthing itself over and over and over again. That's why it's constantly expanding, constantly growing. It's procreating. You live in a sexual world. You can fight it all you want, but it'll be very easy for me to find you because you will be exactly where we left you here. Very easy to find you. Because you'll just be right here. Why does everything have to be outside? That's how you got here, girl. You guys ready for some questions? How can you lose weight? Eat to your human design. Look up on human design how it is that you're supposed to eat. Follow that, and your body will go to where it's supposed to be. Now, as somebody with the most complicated eating type ever, I can tell you, it can be hard, but it's worth it. Let me get a sip of water. I love this fucking topic, you guys. Where's my water? All right. Today's live, and I think I'm still confused if I should start here or on ritual. If you haven't done ritual, I like to start just about everybody on ritual. And you can do ritual first. This is the advantage of being in my school where you have access to all of the workshops. Ritual is really quick and easy. The thing is that you can't really see anything clearly on top of a bunch of money blocks. You just can't. And also the kink for discipline, which so many people have but refuse to address. They like fantasize about somebody come and telling them what to eat and telling them how to lose weight. It's like people saying, I know I should drink more water, but they just can't do it. They want that external disciplinarian to come in and be like, do this, eat to your human design, stop whining. And it's like, this person is inside of you. Like, this person is inside of you. If you can just supply yourself with that, then your deeper desires can come out. But right now you're basically looking out the window saying, when is my prince gonna come and save me? And the definition of your prince are like the lowest possible standards for life. Like, it's just like the bare minimum. It's like, I need somebody to wipe my ass. It's like, fucking wipe your own ass, dude. Like, no, this is not the actual kink. Deeper desires come out, but the ritual is such a good place to kick off a relationship of discipline, especially when it comes to money. And money is inherently submissive. If you are like, money, I'll do anything for you. If you're subbing to money, just like if you ever sub to a sub, you're gonna get the worst fucking behavior. So money wants to submit. Money wants a dominant hand. Here's the responsibility I have. Here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do. I'm picking you up at 7. We're doing this. This is the goal. This is how I plan to reach the goal. And this is how many things that I have for sale have to be sold to reach that goal. Get in the car. I'm picking you up at 7. Wear something nice. That's the energy that money has. But most people are like subbing to money. So basically, ritual is 40 days straight of clearing all of the money blocks. And you're showing up for yourself in 2 really big ways. The bulk of the workshop is a 20-minute practice that you do every single day. Now you can crank this up to a workout, or you can dial it back to meditation that you listen to based on the energy that you have for the day. But that daily practice of showing up physically for yourself and working on your relationship with money is key. And if you're a manifesting generator or a generator, like, you definitely have the energy to do this. If you're a manifestor, projector, or reflector, then you need to clearly define what level of showing up is possible for you. If you go to the gym every day, you can do this every day. If you can only go to the gym 4 days a week, then maybe you can only do this 4 days a week, but fucking define it and hold yourself to it. And we usually have manifestors, reflectors, and projectors reach out to us and tell us what integrity looks like for them in this practice. Manifesting generators and generators, the majority of the population, you just need to learn how to fucking focus and be disciplined. Quit fucking whining and show up and do the work. Because that 20-minute daily practice weaves in the 3 to 5 minute business lesson that you're taking in through your mind and fucking hammers it into your being. Your being. Your being is what attracts your life. Your beliefs create your reality. That's people saying, oh, I feel so abundant. Girl, your fucking patchwork pants tell me that this abundance is only a feeling. This fucking bus that you live in with your fucking 5 roommates is telling me that this abundance is a feeling and nothing more. And nobody else. We all know you're sleeping your way somewhere. No one's confusing it for the top. None of us are sharing this little personal reality that you're living in here. But your being attracts your life. So if you want the type of abundance that other people can see and be jealous of and say, goals, her shit on my vision board. Yeah, that looks good. If you want something that's tangible, then your being has to change. The new you that you want, it costs only one thing, the old version of you. The old version of you's got to die. A new version of you has to come forward. And I know you're really comfortable with the old version of you, but that's the deal. You don't like it, don't come to school. New you costs you old you, period, finito, capisci. That's it. So it's a 40-day brainwashing, taking out the poverty mindset, installing the wealth mindset. And you're always going to get a better result from any one of the workshops we offer if you're not doing it on money blocks, because we don't want to, start building a business or thinking about the road ahead when you have zero fucking self-worth, when you're on the fence about if it's spiritual to earn or not. Like, there is not a lot of places where spirituality comes with a get money attitude. If you do not have a get money attitude, maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's your destiny to live in a conscious community with a composting toilet. Totally fine. We flush stuff around here. And we like that. And look, you can be very, very, very rich and have a huge place. But if you're fantasizing about a life where money isn't a thing, I'm not the person to talk to. I know what the world was like before money. I do not like bartering. Listen, sometimes I don't want your shitty fucking painting in exchange for my premium fucking coaching. So that's why we have money. So that when you say, hey, I'll make you a custom painting, I say, literally, no thank you. That's not, no thanks. I would not like a fucking painting of the ocean for my house, thanks. That's why we have money. But if you're like, I want to be actually wealthy, I can recognize that the experiences I want to have, I don't want to manifest being bumped up to first class. I want to be able to never look at economy tickets again, because that's not for me. My children have never flown in the back of a plane. Never. They only know what it's like to be in first class. Now, one day I'm sure they'll fly economy when they're on their own, doing their own traveling, and they'll be like, wow, it's different back here. My parents have achieved something pretty fucking cool. But that was just a standard I made for my life. There's nothing, you're not, if a plane crashes, a first class passenger doesn't have a higher rate of survival than an economy class. But this was just one of those standards I wanted for my life, because usually even celebrities, they fly first and they make their kids fly in economy in the back with the nanny. And I love being a symbol of wealth for everyone who sees me, because people have these really strict definitions. Oh, you can't possibly succeed with a face tattoo. You can't be successful if you have a face tattoo. And I love it when people get on the plane and the first thing they see is my tattooed ass face with my small child next to me, totally comfortable, and my husband there and everybody else. I love that. And you know what else? No nanny. So I love this about us, because we are constantly changing people's definition of who you have to be and what you have to conform to be wealthy. So what's a standard that you want to have for your life and your family? What kind of parent do you want to be? What kind of experiences do you want to have? And are you hoping that some rich person is going to come and save you? Because they're not. They're not. Rich people aren't attracted to poor people, because poor people are always talking about how much they hate money, and that's why they're poor. Money doesn't go to people that need it. It goes to people that want it. People that need it say, money, money, I'll sub to you, I'll do whatever you want. Money is inherently submissive. Money goes to people that want it and be like, look, I'll pick you up at 9, period. I want to be in a community with people like you. People like me don't live in communities, honey. I'm this way because I grew up in a cult and I'm like, this is bullshit. That's one thing that's going to be a good solid no for my life. But I am surrounded in the neighborhood that I live with. I am surrounded by people like me, but we're all super different. Playwrights, authors, architects, sculptors. This is a second home for basically everybody here. People that have used their creative gifts to make money. And it took me a long time to be what they call a vibrational match to this. Right now, you're surrounded by people that unfortunately are a lot like you. And if you don't like the way that that looks, then it's you that has to change. But yeah, so this person is also talking about this, but I'm going to keep that question short. No matter what relationship, she says, I ended a 7-year relationship after 6 weeks of being apart, codependency class, huge awakening, twisted relationship, 7 years, didn't like it, speaking again, take whatever time I need to be happy. Before you do autoerotic, get your self-worth on lock with the ritual. I always think that it's a good idea to get your self-worth on lock, but here's what we do in Safe House. When you enroll to be a student with us, we take an audit of your life. Like, it's a pie chart thing that we do with everybody. And if you're really lacking in the money department, we're always going to start you on ritual. And we'll really just work money with you until it's at a place where you want it to be. He said he would do Erotic Wealth with you next year if you work things out. And yeah, go. I think that all of this, is good. But for you, I would definitely start with the ritual. I was planning on doing autoerotic with the intention that if he's truly my soulmate, the journey of self-fulfillment would reveal that in time. I'm not in the space where I'm ready to go back into business. I don't want to run a business on my own. My kink. I hated it. I've been an RN for 10 years, been in the service industry before that. I taught marketing. I knew logistically what it took to hit sales, boiled down to being responsible for others' results, made me dead creatively. Okay, all of this is still ritual, because autoerotic begins on the premise that you know what you want to be doing and you're ready to grow that. Now, if you don't have any business plan, ritual will get you the business plan. Autoerotic is 5 months long. Ritual is 40 days long. We can get you the vision. We can get you the business plan. We can get you started on this really quickly. But autoerotic is going to be a lot better if you don't have this whole story of I don't want to make money, it's going to be hard, I don't want this, I want that. It's like, shut up. This is why you're unsatisfied in the relationship, because he represents all of the financial stability and all of the stability. And you don't need stability because you already have it. You want a heightened level of this. So that's why you're unhappy in the relationship. And this happens to people that are married like literally all the time, because we have this societal expectation that somebody who is totally, listen to how crazy this is. We have this expectation in society that somebody that was always financially independent, always doing their own thing, always had something going on, that this person should just be automatically super satisfied with being somebody's housewife, with being completely dependent on somebody else, with no longer pursuing their own hobbies and interests, that they should just be in love with being a parent. Now, like, that's so crazy, whether you're expecting that from the default parent. Might be a mom, it might be a dad, it might be a they, but that is a lot to expect from the default parent, that all of a sudden all of their career goals and all of their interests should just go out the window because they're so lucky to stay at home. Like, that's such a crazy thing to expect. But this happens a lot of time in marriages, this like major dissatisfaction, because that was the expectation on the default parent. And of course, it starts to fucking rub and cut a bit as they realize that all they're doing is the least appreciated role in the house. And so what that partner needs to learn, that partner who's been defaulted to being more submissive, they need to learn how to be more dominant. And the default worker who has been more dominant needs to learn how to be more submissive. So even though there's not kids in this relationship and there hasn't been a commitment like a marriage in place, this is the dissatisfaction. You have to learn how to be more dominant. So you have a kink, like, there's always a light and a shadow side to a kink. So what it might seem like for you in the streets is like, oh, I just hate doing this and I hate doing this and I hate having to have things financially and I don't want to do it. You don't want to do it on the same terms that you did before, but that doesn't mean that you don't want to do it. So definitely, and the thing is that you can start the ritual. If you were to start the ritual today by going to mommyonami.com/safehouse, signing up for either an annual trial, which gives you for an annual account, which saves you some money and gets you a 2-week free trial, or just going right on in with the monthly, which is $200 a month. Start with ritual, and then if you start today, you'll have had a week, a little bit over a week of doing the ritual, and you'll know if you can add on more work. There's a very good chance you can do autoerotic and this simultaneously, but that's going to be your trajectory. So if you're signing up today, when you send my husband and I that message so that we can start onboarding you, just remind me that we've already talked about doing ritual and autoerotic together. Let me know that you're the lady from Q&A. We personally onboard all of our students, so we'll see you, but I'll do this whole questionscape with you again if you don't remind me of who you are. Hey Onami, I'm sending out emails to agencies requesting representation. I feel like I have so much experience, I don't know where to start. I have a list of highly respected awards and mentions and reviews from big newspapers from the last 20 years that I want to start every email with. I'm a big deal, which obviously I won't, why not? But I'm finding it hard to explain how experienced and well-established I am without spelling it out. Spell it out. That's where your block is. I've worked with the biggest theater directors in the world who've told me I'm amazing again and again. I know that I'm really good at what I do, but how the fuck do I put that across in the email? You know exactly how, but you're afraid of your own power. You're afraid of triggering people with your own power. You need to honor your experience. If someone did a Google search of reviews for shows I've done, they would really see The Guardian said my one-woman show was the best theater of the last 25 years, and she's an actor for the ages. Start with those press headlines. Best one-woman show is the best theater of the last 25 years. The Guardian. Put out that bam, bam, bam. Own your fucking accolades, girl. You deserve them, but this is the block. This is the block. You're scared of who you are. You're scared of how talented you are. Other people being intimidated by your power is not your responsibility. You have to own this. People that do books fucking do this all the time. You know, that's the back of their book. The back of their book is all of the accolades and the blurbs. Own it, but that's the block. You're afraid of your power. Go very big. People love confidence. Go very, very big. My name is blah, but I go by such name as blah and blah. Everyone's anonymous with me. Blah. Okay, where's the question here? Okay, so wonderful. I don't see a question in here. A question is a sentence that ends in a question mark. I have a very long set of paragraphs here, but not one single question mark. So I'm just going to keep going. But if you would like to reframe the question, and Story, you can ask him to reframe the question. I'm doing the Erotic Wealth workshop and I'm supposed to text the homework. You're not doing the Erotic Wealth workshop because you cannot get into Erotic Wealth unless you've been personally approved by my husband and I. If you did, you know where to text the homework in with us. Now, if you're doing the Autoerotic Wealth workshop, that doesn't drop until the 8th of August. So you're actually not doing either of the workshops, and that's okay. If you want to do Erotic Wealth with a partner, you have to be personally approved by us, and that is a conversation that happens entirely in text messages. If you want to know how to enroll, you can look at just go to mommyonami.com, click Erotic Wealth. But the short answer is if you want to do this with your partner, there's a vetting process that takes place, and it all begins with texting us a thumbs up selfie with your partner. Why do we ask for a thumbs up selfie with your partner? Because we need 2 consensual partners to do this. And you showing us a photo that both of you are here and ready and willing to work, that's the only way that we can begin. And we have a lot of students for Erotic Wealth right now. We're really, really enjoying it. I love getting into these conversations because people's marriages are so right. They're 99% right, but that 1% that needs tweaking can seem like the theme of the whole relationship when the erotic is dead. But it's been really fun unpacking some of these themes and stuff together. It's really exciting for us and we're really enjoying it. Autoerotic begins on the 8th of August. It does not begin before the 8th of August. When the 8th of August hits, the first module will drop. You will have your community populated. It'll show up right there on your phone, and there will be a very clear place labeled homework drop where you drop your homework, as well as a very clear Q&A where you drop it there. So it enrolls when it enrolls. It's good that you're excited, but that's where it is. Same question over here. First text homework for the Erotic Wealth Workshop. That is on 8/8 it opens. Oh, Nami, I'm dropping homework here for Erotic Wealth. I hope this is the right spot. No. So for Erotic Wealth, you have to apply. Story, please let her know personally. For it, you have to apply. We don't take anyone for erotic. Look, if we can't help you, we're not going to say that we can help you. If we can't help you, we're not going to say that we can help you. So what you need to do, and that first video says send us a text message. You can send us a text message once you've been onboarded, but to apply, you have to send us a picture of both of you with a thumbs up selfie. If you want to know what the number is to send that to, just go to mommyonami.com, click on Erotic Wealth and get it there. And Story, make sure that we have written this out to her so that she knows how to, so that she can clearly follow those directions. Oh my gosh, I got it. The way that wealth is connected to the erotic. Yes, baby. I understand. Yes, baby. And all of the stuff that you're saying clicks into place. Thank you. I see how shifting into the energy of having wealth makes even my posture change. I can see how there's even a particular energy that characterizes the energy of receiving. It's on the level, not grasping, not simpering, not a lower power than the giver, but just at a different place in the energy cycle. One person gives as a way to make things happen, and another receives to make things happen. There's a partnership, and both have different roles. Exactly. For me, I access this understanding by doing a thought experiment and really feeling what it would be like to experience my body. From there, I was able to find insights. My question, what exactly do you do to access that understanding? Do you feel it in the body, and what does it feel like for you? The understanding to me is like base level, that eroticism and wealth are connected because you can never get more than enough without addressing the erotic. So if you're getting just enough financially and you want to go to more than enough, you're not going to be able to do that without addressing the erotic. You can make $20,000 a month, but you're going to get $20,000 a month of expenses and not being able to save all of it if you're stuck in that enough mindset. So once we have the understanding, all we have to do is do the work, and that's something that we do over the course of this workshop, Autoerotic Wealth. So let me ask you guys something. Do you feel like you need a master class on how eroticism and wealth are connected? Do you feel like you need a master class on that? Because if we do, we have 2 more of these Q&As coming up, and we could totally do something on that. But you know what? I'll make the intro of our next Q&A on that, because it's not a long conversation, but it is what it is. Not really a question, but thank you for spelling it out for me. You're welcome. It's not that I don't know what I want. I've always known what I wanted. It's just that pain in the ass desire that I always felt was a pipe dream, and I cut myself down to size to fit the box everyone else needed me to be in. It's 7 in the morning and I'm just sitting here like, yep. So it sounds like you've cracked into the autoerotic work already, because that's one of the lessons that we have on there. But please, I need to be able to check your homework. Just wait until August 8th. That's when we have everything together. Everything is kind of like shifting and stuff until we have it. Ascension Seed, okay, cool. Nice to see you. Oh, nice to see you on here. I'll open up the next, I literally tell you right now, that's what it is. The first level of business and the first level of like spirituality is, am I worth it? Am I worth it? Am I worth it? And everything that we do is about like proving our worth, and our life is not supposed to be about proving our worth. And on the other side of proving our worth in relationships, trying to make somebody see how worth it we are. And if they could just see how worth it we are, then maybe we could focus on the other thing that needs to get done. But we're not making the demands that we need to make of our partners and out of life, because we think that we still have to establish this base level of like, am I worth it or not? And you are fucking worth it. And on the other side of am I worth it, there is so much work to be done, demands that need to be made, standards that need to be raised, boundaries that needs to be implemented. And your next level of love and success requires all of these systems in place before you can receive it. It's not that you're not worthy of getting it, it's that you don't have the systems to receive it. And it takes actual systems. These are not like energetic systems. For example, a system to receive more love. You tell your partner, I need you to do the dishes. And they say, okay, I'm going to do it. And if they don't, drop everything and get up right now and go do the dishes within the next 5 minutes, you go and do it yourself resentfully. That is not a system for receiving help. A system for receiving help is, I need you to do this, and I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to check it. I'm not going to wonder if it's done. If I go to bed before you, I'm not going to go to bed seething, wondering if I'm going to wake up to the pile of dishes. I have a system in place, which is called personal self-respect, boundaries, and trust. My boundary is that I told you to do it, therefore it's delegated and I'm not doing it. If you can do it 80% as good as me, that is a win. That is a successful delegation. 2, I trust that if I ask you to do it, you're going to do it. And if you don't do it, there's going to be fucking hell to pay the next morning, because that'll be the last fucking time you ever leave dishes in the sink, because you hate the result that you get when you don't do this. And boundaries is that I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think about it. I told you to do it. It's off my plate. It's no longer my responsibility. And self-respect is that I don't have a problem telling you to wash the dishes because I respect myself. I don't need to prove to you that I'm worth it. I am worth it. Wash the dishes and thank you. And thank you in advance for the good job I know you're going to do. That's a system of receiving. Now, when you are still having this argument of, am I worth it? Am I worth it? Am I worth it? You say, can you wash the dishes for me while they're like actively playing a video game because that's the level of person you attracted. No shade, we don't come from the gaming family, but fuck me, I'm an attention whore. If my husband was playing video games instead of talking to me or improving my life in some way, it wouldn't be a match for me. It wouldn't be a match for me. I would like, fuck this, pay attention to me. I've never dated a guy that played video games, not even once. But in New York, it's pretty common for people to not be gamers because like people have to work so much. I didn't even know anybody that was a punk, you know, it's different. So, hi Georgia, hey. But if you don't have that I'm worth it thing, you ask them while they're in the middle of playing a fucking video game. And if they don't drop, oh, hang on, my wife's calling me. I'll get up, I'll do it right away. Like, guys will do it, they're just gonna do it on their own time. But when you don't have that self-worth thing, if they don't do it right away, you go and do it because it's not fair that I'm treated like this and I've got to do this. And you're getting off at how mad you can be at them later because this is your little kink. So that's not a system of receiving. So it's not work that you, when you're at that first level, you think that other people just need to see your worth more. So in business, you're like, maybe I'm going to go viral, you know, maybe someone's going to recognize me and maybe then it's going to be a thing. And if I just make myself more visible and if I just show people that I'm worthy, it'll work out. And that's all like an external focus. You need to turn around and focus internally. The reason why I'm not getting it is because I don't have systems to receive it. The reason why I am not getting the tooth situation that I want with my kids is because I don't have the system to just let my husband handle it. I'm too fucking, my kink for control is just off the charts on this. So I could totally say, look, just because I have you handle this does not mean that I'm a bad mom. You can handle it. You're perfectly able to handle this. You're the only driver anyway. Do we have to pack the whole family in? Do I have to extend a 30-minute appointment into a theme for the entire month? Can I just let it be a 30-minute appointment? Can I just let it be exactly what it is? Do I have to make a whole fucking meal about this? When it comes to the technology of expanding and contracting time, am I only defaulted to use this in a way that does not please me, or can I use this to my advantage? That's a system of receiving the help that my husband is here to offer me. You don't have a system, you can't get it. If you don't have it, it's because you don't have a system to get it. So on the other side of am I worth it is a whole bunch of work on building systems that you have to do. Now, how is this related to and inexorable from wealth? You're doing the same thing in business because you're like, maybe, you know, if I just got the right press opportunity, or if I put a bunch of money on ads so that people could see me. If you put a bunch of ads for people to see you and you try to manufacture a level of success that you aren't really prepared for, that you don't have systems to handle, you're gonna be wasting all of your money to send people to a fucking restaurant that doesn't have enough food for the customers. It's like you're sending 500 people to a restaurant with 15 seats and you only thought to put one server because that's all you needed in the past. You're getting what you can receive. You're getting what you can receive. And what people stuck in the am I worth it, which is very, very obvious. You like want to be in league with all of the other CEOs, but you don't realize that every fucking word you ever speak is giving away what a fucking amateur you are. That every single word reeks of am I worth it? And people are like, look, you know, like I just don't really fuck with that level. Can't relate. I'm sorry. So you have to, there's this habit in the am I worth it lifestyle of like, well, when I need it, I will build it. It doesn't work like that. And this is a good thing. The universe isn't trying to make a public ass out of you. Like I remember somebody that I know had started a skincare line, which got a whole lot of press, but then Vogue called, you know, it was like this Kundalini beauty oil, Kundalini glow in a bottle, you know, very 2015. And Vogue called and said, okay, well, we want to see your lab. Her lab, she was storing fucking face oil in her oven. Her lab was her kitchen with 3 roommates and cat hair all over the place. She was only planning on selling fucking 3 bottles of this a month. So all of this press coming to her door, can we see your lab? And it's like, actually you can't. I have to decline these things because it would be fucking embarrassing if people knew that I didn't have the systems to receive this. So you, before, build it and they will come, not they will come and build it as you go. That worked at the first level, but what got you to the first level is going to keep you at the first level. So Ascension Seed, this is a new level and this is a new devil. It's a totally different way of thinking. And even though, you know, we can kind of take a hit when we go through a big relationship change and it can feel like our self-worth was plummeting, it was because of your heightened sense of self-worth that got you to be like, I need to upgrade my relationship situation because this is no longer serving me. And when you see all the new responsibilities that come up with upgrading, you're like, I'm not having this am I worth it conversation anymore with you. I'm sick of having it. I'm worth it. And now I have other things that I need to do. Now that it's on me, I have all of this responsibility that I need to take on. It's the same thing in business. It's always proportionate. So we have to transfer that over. And is there a lot of responsibility? Yes. Will there be stress? Yes. Will it be good for you? Yes. And that's when you become a different person. And when you become a different person, you get a different life. So when we talk about quantum leaping and erotic wealth, this isn't like a cute thing. And when we name a workshop Autoerotic Wealth or Erotic Wealth, it's not a cute thing for us. Like you're going to feel sexy and you're going to feel rich. Like, no, these are 2 workshops together. You do 1 lesson of autoerotic and then you do 1 lesson of wealth, because these 2 grow proportionately, and they are fed the same diet. So we have to work on both of them, because faith without works is delusion. But people that are like, well, I just want to know sex magic. Well, why do you want to do sex magic? Because you think that magic's going to get you to a new life. By any chance, does that life cost more money? Because there is no money magic. The magic is that you can make as much fucking money as you want if you're willing to work for it. So this is the fucking collective delusion that I am here to wake people up out of in the spiritual industry. Wake the fuck up. No one's coming to save you. You have work to do. Everyone can see how insecure you are. Clean this fucking shit up. There's a life after childhood trauma. You know that? You can quit with the inner child work. You can quit with this am I worth it? You're fucking worth it. Get over it. Now you got real work to do. All right? Do I feel critical of consumerism at all? I've seen the Crass t-shirt, so I'm very curious about your views on capitalism. And Crass is a band, not a religion. Crass is a band, not a religion. You also see me wearing a Yanni shirt, but nobody asked me if I go pray at the Acropolis. Crass is a fucking band. And I love consumerism. Somebody put up this like video. I don't like waste. So consumerism and waste, you know, maybe they go hand in hand, but I love my stuff. And I saw somebody put up a video of like a super well-organized fridge, and they were like, this is just consumerism. Like nobody should be buying things to put in their fridge to keep it organized. I immediately went to find that person online because I needed to know where to get these fridge organizers from. All right, we're going to go into some rapid fire questions that we got from Instagram Q&A, and then if we have a little bit more time, I'm here for about an hour. We've covered a lot. I have a business question on YouTube. Thank you to LaFave. And LaFave, can you also timestamp for me that whole like super quick wealth masterclass of how eroticism and wealth are connected? That would be great for YouTube, and luckily I'm filming on a decent camera today. So let me see. Okay, chat. Business question. Live chat, all messages are visible. And what sort of systems do we need to be ready to receive? Team members to handle comms, etc. I have an assistant. I'm aware of some system growth areas, but curious to hear more from you on this. So these systems are what we build in Autoerotic Wealth, and you're a super good candidate for this because you have so much data of what works and what doesn't work. LaFave will make sure that this gets added onto that timestamp. Thank you. But it's really about figuring out what in the business can and cannot scale. So what we do, how we do this in Autoerotic Wealth is we work with a lot of different like high-level business concepts. The main ones that are going to help you with this is the concept of the hedgehog, which is that there's a great business isn't constantly changing. Like an empire looks different than a one-off product. So what you need to be able to do is retain the core values while stimulating change. So retaining the core values while stimulating change, which is basically like, what is that one thing we do really well? How can we do it more? And how can we keep that essence of what makes us us in everything? So for example, Starbucks is really good at retaining the core values while stimulating, sorry, not change, but growth. So Starbucks has a really big focus on a Starbucks should feel like a neighborhood coffee shop. They're really big on regulars. They're really big on adapting the culture wherever they are. Like Starbucks in China was a really hard scale for them because China has a really big emphasis on family values, which just isn't in other places in the world. It's a lot more individualistic. And so they had to really study for a store-by-store success. They're successful as a company because they focus on store-by-store success. And store-by-store success comes from premium education as well as a lot of personal connection and interaction that's really like, can we make regulars here? How can this feel like a neighborhood coffee shop? Rewards and stuff like that. And if you don't go to a Starbucks regularly, you might never experience this. You just have this satisfaction of being able to get the same exact latte everywhere that you go and go through the same exact system everywhere that you go. It feels a little bit nicer than going to like a Dunkin' Donuts. But those are their core values. Is it's really about the Masterclass by Howard Schultz on Masterclass is amazing, by the way. He literally just tells you the whole time, like, you can be honest in business and it's okay. Like, you don't have to be who you think a business person is. Like, you can be you, but better. And this is how great leaders inspire action. It's fucking really cool. But you have to, it's about figuring out what can scale and what cannot. Basically having rules of like, this is, so for example, Southwest Airlines, which is a really good example. We love Dudo. We were at Dudo yesterday. My kids love Dudo. Someone said, leave Duncan alone. But I'll tell you, they were not nearly as happy to see us as they are when we go into Starbucks. So that's on company culture. So America runs on Dunkin', but America stays on Starbucks. You know what I mean? So Southwest Airlines, for example, their core values is they want to have super affordable flights with just as much, they need it to be affordable and they need to have just a lot of flights going all the time. So those are their core value, and they want it to be a congenial, they actually directly ripped off another airline. They like literally copy and pasted what that airline did, and the original airline ended up going bankrupt. And it's not, they're like, look, it's a good idea, we're just going to do it better. But they had to really focus on what they can do great, and what they can do great, it required them saying no to all of these other things. Ryanair, very similar. We don't do food under any circumstances. We don't do international under any circumstances. We never ship cargo. We only ship people. And if we're going to ship cargo at all, it has to be things that are very, very expensive, very, very low risk. For example, jewelry, where it's not a lot of weight, but we can freight it easily like that. So it's really about all of the things that you're going to say no to. And there are plenty. And in my business, I know what can scale in my business, which is coincidentally also what I love. So there's all kinds of things I don't fuck with. I don't fuck with cacao. I don't fuck with group retreats. I don't fuck with ever promising somebody an overnight result. We don't have weekend seminars. We don't have day-long immersions. We don't do yoga retreats. And people ask me, and I don't do one-on-one. People ask me to do this stuff all the time. It doesn't scale. It's not what I can be the best at. It's not what I'm super passionate about. It's not what fuels my economic engine. Therefore, it's not my fucking scale. That's not my job. So it's really in that first level of business, you're like, what can I say yes to? What can I say yes to? What can I say yes to? Real scale is, what do I need to say no to? What do I need to no longer tolerate so that I can be the best at what I'm the best at? Somebody recognized me at the water park yesterday and was like, please, like, we live locally, like, can I come and do one-on-one? I said, that's just not something that I do. Whether I've met you in real life and we had a wonderful connection, or you are a stranger on the internet enrolling at my school for the first time, you're going to get the same service. There's no first class on Southwest Airlines. Everybody's going to get the same exact service. Is it going to be a great service? Yes. Is it going to be a reliable service? Yes. Will you feel seen and heard? Yes. Will it be easy to navigate? Yes. Do we have flights departing all day long? Yes. Can you come meet the pilot? No. Can you get a first class seat? No. Can we make a special dinner just for you? No. That's not what we do. So there is so much that everything that got you to start a business phase, 250 to 500K, is going to leave you there. To get beyond it, you're going to need totally new tools. And this is just a rigorous step-by-step process of us identifying the core values, identifying what can scale, figuring out where your zone of genius is. You might have an assistant in a place you don't need it and need to hire a new assistant where it is. We have a super lean team. I have 2 assistants, one that handles all of the tech support and email, another one that is really just here to do Q&A. That's Story, who we're talking to right now. Southwest has always been having wild times, and they've always come out on top. They grow 20% year over year, and they were the only airline that wasn't impacted by 9/11 and all of these other, as well as these recent flight delays and people quitting and all of that stuff. Southwest always has wild times, but it grows consistently 20% year over year. They're fucking bangers. Like, they kill it. And I don't fly Southwest, but my in-laws do. So I love business. I love business because for so long I was attracted to somebody that I thought wasn't me. Turns out I fucked me. All right, let's go to the next. So thank you very much, LaFave. I'll get a nice broad timestamp on all of that because this is something that we will use for another project. So how many times should you orgasm a day? There is no should in life. There is no should. And this idea, like externalizing what a sex life should look like, is only going to bring you a lot of discomfort in your life. And the only thing I'm going to really focus on in this question, besides stop shoulding all over yourself, there's no should. Stop externalizing the standards for sex and make sure that you understand the difference between orgasm and ejaculation. Because if you're ejaculating multiple times a day, honey, I will be able to smell your weak ass will from a mile away. You're going to be volatile. You're going to be cranky. You're going to be a very hard time focusing. So orgasm and ejaculation are different. Ejaculation is the end of orgasm, when you can't handle any more pleasure. There's a metaphor for your life. And if you want to know more about this, let's get you that video that I just posted where I'm wearing a yellow sweater, where I'm sitting at the thing and I'm talking about how the physical aspect of sex magic rituals really work. Are you guys having a good time? And are you guys having a good time in here? I could talk about this all day long. I love this. And I'm so happy that we got TikTok working too. Extra special thank you and some love to TikTok over here. I haven't been able to come on. My TikTok account has just been like suppressed down to the ground. And so, I'm showing up, but TikTok kind of has like a tall order. Like if you're not, I don't keep apps on my phone, and TikTok really wants you to know that you're watching the app and you're aware of the recent trends. And like, that's just not something that I have availability for. To me, keeping an app on, I just don't keep the apps on my phone. I post and I get out of there because I could really, my attention is super important to me. And I'm here to get my bag, but also I can serve you better when I'm not ejaculating my energy all over the internet at all times. Not a question, just a compliment. You two are a sexy couple. Thank you very much. We're like at kind of peak romance right now because I don't know. Well, we just started sleeping together again because we were co-sleeping separately. And that was like very erotic in its own way. And also, like, I wouldn't really say that there's anything that special about sleeping together. I actually don't really know if he's there or not because we just kind of sleep. We're not like spooners. Even before I met even before my husband and I had kids and stuff, if we were sleeping in the same bed, which was like very briefly before I got pregnant, but if I like rolled over and tried to spoon him in the middle of the night, he'd go, he'd wake up like, you know, there was a fucking live bear trying to like get up on him. So we're not like snugglers. So I don't really know what's responsible for my husband and I being so fucking lovey-dovey. But we go into chastity tomorrow because we're doing Erotic Wealth. We enrolled Erotic Wealth first via a video, and it seems like everybody needs a little bit more clarity. So LaFave, if you see people asking around how to sign up for Erotic Wealth, let them know. Don't go looking for them, but if you come across them, it's fine. Do I get tired of leading? Well, I lead in the streets, but I don't lead in the sheets. So that's how my kink is balanced. I'm just a leader. And honestly, I would much rather be a leader than a follower. On the weekends, my husband leads a little bit more, but I run a tight ship and I love my responsibilities. But I am a leader in the sheets and a leader in the streets and a follower in the sheets. So my kink is fully expressed. Where do I start? I feel a pull towards it, but I don't know how. Sign up and get the book, The Complete Guide to Sexual Magic. You'll also get emails that explain the correlation between what's going on in the erotic world and what's going on in the wealth world. This person says, pervert, baby, you don't know the half of it. I'm a girl that's not the most attractive. How do I gain the attention of men like a beauty? There are so many models out there that are not attractive conventionally. And in an era where everybody is getting plastic surgery to look conventionally beautiful, people are going to really crave what is not seen. People always crave what isn't there. If you're getting nothing but sushi, you're going to crave pizza. That's just the nature of it. But the bottom line is what makes people attractive is confidence. We can teach you how to do that in autoerotic. It's not an overnight job. The confidence is just knowing your worth, being in love with yourself, being like, fuck, I'd fuck me. So it's about confidence. There are so many people out there that would never fit a conventional definition of beauty that are super confident. And I know because I've dated, this has always been the type of guys that I've dated. If you looked at my history, you'd be like, this girl's got no type whatsoever. But my type across the board was super confident guys that were super, super interesting, that could teach me something that I didn't know and could give me an experience that I couldn't get anywhere else. Like I've just always dated really, really cool guys that were really confident as well. And I remember there was this guy that didn't fit my type at all. And I actually only broke up with him because he had back knee and I was like, sorry, I'm a picker. Like I just wouldn't be able to do it. Probably steroids when I look at it in hindsight. But he was shorter than me. His name was Sturgios. He was shorter than me. He was very, oops, my live says it's going to end in a few minutes. Oh, sorry. Let me try again. TikTok, I will help you. There you go. He was shorter than me. He wasn't really my type, but he was so fucking confident in how he approached me that I really enjoyed the short time that I went out with him. And in a sense, I was very lucky because I told him like I'd just gotten out of a relationship, and he's like, look, if you just got out of a relationship, I don't want to date you. He's like, it's just going to be sloppy for a little bit. But when you're ready for a new relationship, like hit me up, you're hot, I'd go out with you. He was so confident. How should I navigate sexual repression and trauma from my mother? I would definitely recommend going to my YouTube and watching exactly how to overcome shame and sexual trauma right now by yourself. How to foster intimacy and depth and surpass dopamine and instant gratification. So intimacy is different than eroticism. Intimacy is actually the death of eroticism. It doesn't mean that intimacy is a bad thing. But when you've gotten yourself into a situation where you feel like you know either yourself or your partner so well that they can never surprise you, you have that heightened level of intimacy and there's no eroticism whatsoever. You've got assumptions up the wazoo. So I always make this comparison from Beauty and the Beast of like, and I usually do a reel like this every year. Let me see if I can find it. But it's in Beauty and the Beast, intimacy is when she's like, I love this book. I've read it 1,000,000 times. But when she walks into the Beast's library and says, there's more books than I could ever read in my life, that astonishment, that's eroticism. It's really its own taste. So in our workshop with couples, people are saying they're so triggered by the first lessons of it, and triggered to me is really good because we're just getting really specific homework from you. This is what we want to hear. Please get it back to us exactly on these terms. To be approved, we're also really looking at your ability to follow directions because we have so many students for Erotic Wealth, and Erotic Wealth is couples. So it's really a lot of us no, it's so much easier to just focus on one person because what you see is what you get. But with two people, there's all of these different dynamics, and you really have to understand how these two complement each other to make their own unique thing. And so we're able to handle a lot of students, but the homework directions are like very clear, and we're looking for your ability to follow directions. Because if you need like extreme hand, a lot of people that are like the youngest in the family get this really strong, like, I can't do it, can you do it for me thing, because that's just how, that's what babies of the family do. But we're really, we need, we'll be very gentle about it, but we don't take homework that hasn't been turned in correctly. And so that's what it is. What was that question? But intimacy, so with two partners, people have been saying that they're really like triggered by stuff in this workshop, but they're getting it done. They're like, it was hard for us to answer this question, this kind of simple question that you posed to us. But I'm so happy because like we're saving people so much time. If you were to go to a marriage counselor to try and work some of this stuff out, there's no chance that a marriage counselor is taking you in the direction of erotic wealth because it's very specific. Let's focus on the future, and let's only go into the past to get what's necessary to go forward. Let's not aimlessly rehash anything because we know that the attention span is limited here. So we have to get you a result. We have to get you a result fast. The work is delivered in like 5-minute videos. So it's like a 5-minute video with a homework that you then return to us, and then we unpack it together. But it's a very specific request, and this request brings up a lot of stuff in the relationship, but it's very endable. There's a very clear end in sight. It's not just like, let's see how this goes. Can we have sex with other people while enrolled in autoerotic, or does that not jive? Yeah, of course you can. Now here's the thing. So in black, white, and red sex magic, the black magicians are like ejaculate all the time. The white magicians are like never ejaculate. Sex magic is really about, and tantra is like, do whatever you want. There's no, don't have any rules on it whatsoever. And when we put all of them together, which is how holistic magic works, and it's the only terms on which we can do actual sex magic, because gold magic is the most advanced. Red magic is like understanding the ABCs before you can write cursive. And so, it's not about having rules on ejaculating or sex. It's about when. There's right time for everything. So this workshop is really also a workshop about understanding how time works and how flow works, because we can't make a quantum leap if we don't completely understand how time works. And something that's really interesting about time as well is that like in the human design system, there's 3 tantric channels. We'll talk about this more, but these 3 tantric channels, and Magic and I have all 3 when you put us together. He has 2 of them and I have 1 of them. So we're hot and heavy around here, you guys. But the tantric channels are named rhythm, beat, and discovery. And these tantric channels are all about like the true nature of time. So to be in a tantric way is to really be in complete communion with the true nature of time and the timing of life. How to know if I can be dominated or submit more. You can trust your cravings on this, but actually I would trust more what you're resistant to, because if you're like, I just need to, where you think you need to control more, you probably need to learn how to surrender. So it's like basically ask yourself what you're craving and then reverse it. Is solo sex magic beneficial if the spouse is not mentally, emotionally available to do so at the moment? So if you're with a spouse and you really, because we have a lot of people that come in that want to do sex magic, couples sex magic, and physically there's an inability, there's an erectile inability to be able to do things. This is all about giving and receiving in new ways. So there's plenty of ways to do it there's plenty of ways to do it with the partner, no matter what the limitations may seem. But if somebody just doesn't, if your partner it doesn't want to show up and work on the marriage, if the idea of showing up and working on the marriage like that just isn't available to them, and you really want to do it, you can definitely do it on your own. But the thing is that autoerotic teaches you how to not need anybody. So if your relationship with your partner is based on need and not want, then you're going to outgrow this partner by the time you get to point 3 of autoerotic, which is lesson 4. You're going to outgrow them. It's going to become super obvious. And at that point, you can choose to like go into denial and say, fuck this workshop. I don't like the result that it's giving me. But you're just going to stay right there. You can't unsee what's been seen. So this is your fucking disclaimer right here. If the relationship is based on need, because you're like, I need them for stability, I need them for security. Do I want them? No, I'm not attracted to them at all. We probably have a relationship that's never going to be sexual, but it's just, I don't really know what I would do without them. That'll become really obvious. So you can either grow with them or you can grow alone. But if you grow alone, you will be growing alone, which means you will be outgrowing what no longer fits you. Noise in the industry about somatic, but I've always been a mental gal with sex magic teaching. So how we teach it is really about the psychological, because the somatic is such a small part of it. You're just acting out the psychological truth. So if you were to try, it would be putting the cart before the horse to put all of the focus on the physical and not the psychological. And let me be straight up with you. I'm not shit talking anybody, but healthy relationships, the type of relationships that, are goals, the type of relationships where you see the person in that person's life, they're down for that person, they're talking about them a lot. There's not like a trail of tears behind them of all the relationships that didn't work out because their partner couldn't handle polyamory, which is, polyagamy. It's not for everybody. Some people love it, some people don't. Some people are very defensive about how much they love it, to the point that they're not listening to their partner when the partner's saying, this doesn't fucking work for me. You've talked them into thinking they want it because you want it. I know what it's like to be this partner that says you want it because I want it. I'm going to use you as an excuse and say it was your idea, when actually, like, I gave it to you and I fucking know that I gave it to you. I just didn't feel comfortable going first, so I pushed you to go first so that it would be my turn. This is very, very common in that community. And, outside of the people that are triggered and defensive about it, there's usually quite a few comments from people that are like, yo, thank you for saying this, because I'm poly, but the amount of clarity and consent that needs to happen. My sister's in a poly marriage for the last 15 years, but their relationship dynamic is fucking solid. And it's not like, if they didn't have the strict, it's like they are monogamous in polyamory. There is no opening for some third to come in. And they have 15 years of data on it. And they'll be the first people to tell you that it's not for everybody. Do not attempt this at home. Oh, perfect. Love you. Why do you teach psychological versus somatic? Because all magic is in the mind, and there's sex and there's the desire to have sex. So if we were just focusing on the somatic and they say, okay, I'm not having enough sex, we say, well, the answer is to have more sex. But when we work with the psychological, we understand that no amount of sex is going to replace the desire. If somebody doesn't want to have sex with you and you keep having sex with them, is that going to improve the situation? Is that going to improve the situation or not? So we are working with what motivates people, not how their bodies respond to the motivation they received. In your ebook, you said you tried opening your relationship. How'd you heal it? Let me just text my friend. My friend Shuji is coming over today. Yes, just on QA right now. Cool, got you. Make sure that I'm recording in all of the right places over here. How did we heal from opening our relationship after closing that back up? Luckily, we were able to see the impact that an open relationship had before it got physical. That's a fortunate thing about working with the psychological, is you can really go to the limits of testing before actually like taking it into the physical. I do not think that we would have been able to heal it had it gotten physical. We did a lot of damage just from the psychological, just from the threat of opening it up. We did plenty of damage. So luckily it was like that. My husband and I have always had really good communication. And I think sometimes we take it for granted. There's a lot of people that just don't talk at all in their relationship. That's been in our relationship culture from the beginning. It's like, whatever it is, whatever you want, we'll talk about it. He's really good at listening to me. I'm really good if I'm at listening to him. How do I know if I'm ready for this? Nobody can answer this except for you. Nobody can answer this except for you. People that have emotional definition, sometimes it's going to feel like a good idea when you're up, then a bad idea when you're down. It's really about neutral, but you need to ask yourself, how do I know when I'm ready for this? And never, ever, 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 ever ask somebody this question again, because not everyone has the integrity that I do. Not everyone has the integrity that I do, especially fucking life coaches. I know, because I recently almost got talked into giving somebody my home the deposit for my home so they could make it a deposit on their home. And literally at this manifester, literally at this junction of whose life is more important here, mine or yours, this coach was like, my life is more important. My needs are more important. Here's why you should do this. Here's what will happen if you don't do this. So never ask anybody else ever again for the rest of your life, how do I know if I'm ready for this? Especially not if it's a marriage, because your partner will be like, you know you're ready for this because I told you you're ready for this. No, this is a question for you. How do women and men operate differently in this space, and what's the dynamic? This is such a good question. So women are more in women process things in the emotional and men process things in the physical. This is not across the board, but for the most part, men need less talking, men need less reading, but if they don't have a physical practice and they're not reading and talking about it, then things aren't being processed. So men need to physically exert themselves to be able to get the awareness that they do. The workout epiphanies are real. They can take a very small thing, take it to a physical practice and get to where they need to go. Women, not so much, but women can talk about it and really get to where it is that they're trying to go. Now, of course, it can't be one without the other. All talk with no action is not going to lead to any results, and all action with no talk is not going to lead to results. But men need much less talking than women do, and women need much less physical practice than men do. Now, of course, we can all benefit from having these things in balance, but what I've really noticed is that women can be, and this is why we reshot this whole workshop this round and changed the structure to take it from being like an hour-long masterclass that people had to sit through to just 5-minute videos. This is really thinking about the masculine. And also, we didn't want you to try and blast through too much homework at once. Some homework is going to be easier than others, but it's nice to just kind of close it up and to be able, this is all designed to like mold to your flow. But women can sometimes be very critical of men, like they're not working, they're not working. I'm reading all of these books. I read 40 books to Magic's one book every single year. Like I talk 90% more than Magic does, but when you hear him and I together, like I am not more evolved than he is. I am not more aware than he is, but Magic has had a very strong physical practice for a very, very, very long time. So it's just understanding that we do things differently. Just because they're not doing it like you doesn't mean they're not doing it. Does that make sense? Am I working at a restaurant? No. I mean, technically I kind of work at a restaurant where my kids are the only customers, but no, I don't work at a restaurant. All right, you guys, so that is a wrap for today's Q&A. We have 2 more Q&As coming up. As the questions kind of start to reduce, I feel it. As the questions start to reduce, we'll have more time to kind of unpack different themes and stuff when it's not just in response. But Autoerotic opens up on the 8th of August. We are getting into these themes deeper in my newsletter, which you received, which you received when you signed up for the book, The Complete Guide to Sexual Magic. If you haven't signed up for the Complete Guide to Sexual Magic, then you guys can look that up on the link in the bio, wherever you guys are. I want to thank you all so much for being here. Do a backflip. This guy thinks I'm somehow high kind of girl. My love. Do I look like a fucking sub to you? I subbed to one man only. Yeah. So love you guys so much. I'm going to say goodbye to you one by one. First of all, thank you so much, TikTok. Thank you guys for being here. It's always a pleasure to be able to talk to you. I will see you guys later. It is Santísima Muerte in the back with her sister, La Santísima Virgen. Thank you very much. Instagram, thank you guys so much. Thank you for your questions today on the question sticker. Love you long time. I will see you guys soon. And YouTube, my heart, my favorite. This is like my online newsletter list. Love you guys so much, and I will see you soon. Bye.